All right, let's get right into it. For years, most traders, and yeah, I was one of them, thought position sizing was just a defensive tool. You know, something boring you use just to protect your account. A risk management box to check. Well, it turns out that belief is completely, fundamentally wrong.
This quote, man, it just cuts right to the heart of the matter. It comes from a trader who had this shocking realization that his decisions, they weren't really his decisions at all. They weren't based on his charts or his strategy. They were being secretly controlled by his emotions, and he had no clue it was even happening. This is his story.
So what did this actually look like day to day? Well, if a trade setup looked really clean, like a textbook example, he'd size up, big time. And if he was on a losing streak and felt that pressure to get it all back, you guessed it, he'd size up again. And in his mind, he thought these were smart, tactical adjustments.
Now, what's so powerful about this is the disconnect. On the left, that's what he thought he was doing, being a sharp, calculated trader making savvy moves. But the reality, on the right, well, the reality was his analysis wasn't even driving the car. It was tied up in the trunk. His fear, his greed, his impatience, they were the ones with their hands on the wheel, driving his account straight off a cliff.
The big breakthrough didn't come from some fancy trading book or an expensive course. Nope, it was a complete and total accident. After a brutal, soul-crushing 3-week losing streak, he was genuinely scared. His confidence was completely shot. So, out of pure raw fear, not some grand strategy, he cut his position size in half.
And this is exactly what happened next. The trade setup appeared just like he'd planned, but this time was different. When a normal little pullback happened, he didn't freak out. He didn't panic and mess with it. He just watched. And wouldn't you know it, the trade hit its target perfectly. For the first time in weeks, a flawless execution. And the only thing that had changed was the size. You'd think that would be the end of the story, right? Lesson learned? Not even close. The very next day, feeling confident again, he went right back to his old, larger size. And all the bad habits, exiting early, moving stops, that feeling of panic, it all came flooding right back. It took another full year of struggle for the true lesson to finally sink in.
So what was that real lesson? The one that took a whole year to finally get? It's this. He finally understood that the second you risk an amount of money that genuinely worries you, like you feel it in your gut, you stop trading with your logical brain. You start trading with your nervous system. Your ancient fight-or-flight response just takes over.
And here's the really insidious part. Your nervous system is sneaky. It's a master of disguise. You move your stop loss further away and you tell yourself, I'm just managing my risk. You cut a winning trade short and you pat yourself on the back for being disciplined. You double down after a loss and call it conviction. But in reality, it's just your survival instinct trying to protect you from pain. And in the process, it's absolutely destroying your trading edge.
So this is the crucial turning point. We have to completely reframe what position sizing is for. Its number one job is not to manage financial risk. Its main job is to manage your psychology. Think of it as the master dial that controls whether you are able to execute your plan, or if your panicky lizard brain hijacks the whole operation.
Now look, this isn't just some fuzzy, feel-good theory. The trader started tracking his performance religiously, and the data he collected was, well, it was undeniable. It told a crystal clear story.
Just look at this comparison. It's a tale of two different traders who just happen to be the same guy. When he was risking $2,000 per trade, a normal drawdown felt like a life-or-death threat. But at $600 of risk, that exact same drawdown just felt like information, no big deal. And check out the average trade duration. It more than tripled because he wasn't panicking out of trades anymore. But the most stunning number is right at the top, manual interventions.
And here it is visually, just to really drive the point home. At his high-risk size, he was manually interfering with, or let's be honest, sabotaging, his own trades nearly half the time. By simply dropping his risk to a level his nervous system could actually handle, that number plummeted to less than 10%. He finally stopped being his own worst enemy.
Now this all sounds great, but there's one huge obstacle that gets in the way: the ego. Because when you trade small and win, a little voice in your head starts screaming, "This isn't enough. I could have made so much more." To overcome that, you have to completely change how you even measure success. For most of his career, this was the only question that mattered. It's totally outcome-focused. It ties your sense of accomplishment to the dollar amount. But this question, it's what keeps you trapped in that emotional cycle, always chasing the next bigger win.
This is the shift. The new question is all about process, not outcome. When your entire focus is on flawless execution, the dollar amounts become a byproduct. You know that if you consistently follow your rules, the money will take care of itself over the long run. This is the mindset that makes trading small not just possible, but powerful.
So what does this all mean for you right now? The key is to stop seeing trading small as a permanent handicap or a penalty. Instead, see it as a training environment. It's the gym where you build the muscle memory for perfect execution, so discipline becomes automatic instead of a constant, exhausting fight.
I absolutely love this quote because it captures such a perfect paradox. By trying to rush the process with high risk, you constantly set yourself back with emotional mistakes. But by taking the patient, lower-risk path, you build a solid foundation and you actually reach your goals much, much faster. So if we boil this all down, what's the real takeaway? It's this. If you are struggling to be consistent, the answer probably isn't another technical indicator or a new strategy. It's simpler. Your number one goal is perfect execution. And your number one tool to get there is finding the risk size that is right for your nervous system, the amount that lets you trade without your emotions getting in the way.
And that brings us to the final critical question. You can learn this lesson the easy way, right now, by making a conscious choice. Or you can learn it the hard way, the way the trader in this story did, after a year of unnecessary losses and new traumas finally force you to change. The choice is yours.